everybody. I'm joined once again with Becca Lawrence from the Lloydminster and Community SPCA. How are you doing today, Becca? I see we're on location today.
Yeah, I'm doing really good. I'm hanging out over here at Pet Value Lloydminster with a couple of our bunnies that we've had in our care since the beginning of September. So we are trying to find homes for these guys, or girls, I should say.
Beautiful. And so, Becca, I know rabbits are generally, they're a little different than cats and dogs, right? Like, I grew up on a farm, so we had lots of different animals, right? And we had pet rabbits, and they're lovely. They're great, great animals. But what specifically do you think is, different about caring for a rabbit than, say, your traditional cat or your dog? Kind of what are people signing up for when they decide to adopt a rabbit?
Yeah, so I mean, in my opinion, they're a little bit harder to read, but they're really good animals too. And like cats, you can litter train them too. But I mean, the only real difference is in food. You have to get them some hay to eat and vegetables, so they're nice and healthy. And yeah, so I mean, it's just a little bit different in that aspect. So and giving them some space to run, right? I mean, like this cage here isn't quite big enough for two rabbits, that's for sure. And they just like cats, they like to stretch their legs and play around.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's actually a girl at our office who she has a pet rabbit, and I take care of it sometimes when she's out of town for an extended period. And I know one thing that she does is, she lets the rabbit just kind of wander through the house like she would with any other pet, right? Like they just make sure there's no junk on the floor. You keep your house clean, and it's all good. And the bunny just kind of goes in her spot to sleep. But other than that, the bunny's just hanging out, having a good time. Beautiful. So, how are you guys doing for other pets? Dogs, cats, things like that. Obviously, the bunnies are here at Pet Value, so if anybody out there, wants a rabbit, certainly stop by Pet Value and say hi. Even if you've never, played with a rabbit or, seen a pet rabbit up close, certainly stop in and check them out. But aside from the rabbits, Becca, how are you guys doing for animals?
Yeah, I mean, so at the shelter, actually, we have two more rabbits. So we have a couple bunnies in care right now. And then, just a couple hanging over at PetSmart and one over at Puppy Love. And then actually at the shelter, we're quite low on our cats again. And same with dogs. Like we had a few come in over the weekend. So we have a little bit of dogs in care now, other than like the one that we only had last week. But overall, we're not terribly full, which is really nice. So I mean, we're just gonna have some more space on that waiting list to call and fill us up again.
Beautiful. Well, that's really good to hear. Obviously, it's great that you have lots of open shelter space. So I guess, Becca, since rabbits seem to be the focus this week, and that's your guys' your big push, you obviously have a large rabbit population. If somebody wanted to get a rabbit, what are kind of the things that they need before they come in and they pick one up? Obviously, right? Like these rabbits here got their little cage, and you were mentioning you need bedding for them and things like that.
Yeah.
So what's kind of like the starter kit for a potential rabbit owner, so to speak?
Yeah, so I mean, I would recommend getting a cage for them just so that can kind of be their initial space to begin with. And then, kind of just like dogs, with a crate, it's kind of could be their safe place to go to at night. And throwing stuff around here. And and then just obviously the food and water and things like that. And then until you get to kind of know your animal and where they, if they're going to be good or if they're going to chew on cords, things like that, if they need to be supervised or if they're going to be good on their own. That's all the stuff you want to figure out initially too. So I would recommend the cage setup and the food just to kind of get started, and then just go from there. Work with your animal.
Beautiful. All right. So once again, if anybody out there in the border city is looking for a pet bunny rabbit, the SPCA has lots that you can go and meet and have your pick of the litter, so to speak. Well, that's all the time we have for today, Becca, but I really want to thank you for joining us, and we'll speak with you again next week.
Yes, for sure. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Manage your waste and recyclables with Quick Pick Waste Disposal. 100% locally owned and proud to serve and support the communities we call home. Quick Pick, the convenient solution to avoid pollution.